This is how we do it. It's Friday night, and the mood is right. This boy going on with play. Well, it's not Friday, but you guys get the drift. What's up, guys? All right. Mm-mm. This is some good soup. It's super duper soup. That super duper soup. Ooh. PayPal, you have money. Oh my God. Got money in that PayPal. Ooh. Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna do now is, right, we're gonna kick it in high gear. No, not really. I'm just saying. We should be kicking it into high gear. Yo, you wanna know what it looks like outside? Oh my God. Yo, it's no joke. Like, for real. I ain't even gonna lie to you, yo. Old man Winter, yo, he came out with his tap dancing shoes on. Yo, the man is not playing. Yo, old man Winter is not playing today, bro. Oh, the window. Look. The man is going crazy out there, bro. That shit crazy. Tell me that shit don't look crazy, bro. You can't even see the building right back there with the lights. Oh, you can't hardly see that building. Like, you can't even see past that, bro. Visibility is down to zilch. It looks so awful out there. Like, I was coming back from Walmart just now. I had to take a whole detour. I couldn't even tell what happened, but traffic was stopped like at a light. I'm on one side of the light, and the light then changed like 5 times, and it's not moving. There was something on the other side of the light, an accident. I don't know what it was. I had to take a whole different way just to get home. Boozy. What's up? Mm. Everybody's playing with this.
So you're gonna try and catch snowflakes with your tongue?
Don't eat the snow. Don't eat the snow. This ain't the 80s, man. We got chemtrails and all kind of stuff, man. Snow is poison now. Don't eat the snow. It will poison you. back, please. All right, guys. Let me finish my soup. Then what we're gonna do is, you know what we normally do. Wugger out in the snow. It's snowing everywhere, bro. Everybody getting snow. Get snowed in like Snowden. Don't want to get snowed in like Snowden. Or lighting the snow on fire. I remember that. There was one dude, he couldn't even melt the snow with damn a blowtorch. Couldn't even melt the snow.
Hey, it's Grumpy Bear.
And me, Cheer Bear.
Remember how happy you were when you got us for the holidays?
Yeah, happy.
Get that feeling again.
Let's not do that, Care Bears.
Connected
Care Bear stare. No, this is so delicious. All right, I'm gonna put this down. Let me go grab a drink. I'll be right back.
The moon's brightness has guided mankind through the night since before we were humans. But literally and figuratively, our moon also has a dark side. In the last couple of years, we've seen renewed interest in returning to the moon, and a point often raised is that there's not much purpose served by short trips to collect more rocks. If you're going there, you should be setting up shop in a fairly permanent way, and not just some small base for strictly scientific research. What we imagine using the moon for as our space industry develops isn't some small base, but a vast network of industrial facilities housing thousands to millions of people who live there for years at a time, if not permanently. We looked at some of these back in our episode Industrializing the Moon. Such scenarios are still rather far off, not something we'd see for decades at least, but it raises the concern of how such colonies might develop over time and interact with each other, and that will be our focus for today. We don't see many deep looks at the moon. It's always a waypoint in science fiction, a place we see in its early stages, but ignored afterwards in favor of focusing on distant planets. Now, we haven't been back there in a while, but we have been there. Because of this, it's lost some focus in science fiction and doesn't get the consideration it used to, the same as how a lot of sci-fi was set in Antarctica or the deep seas in the early 20th century, but less so nowadays. That's a pity because whether it's the moon, the deep sea, or the Arctic poles, these are still very unexplored places that have played a big role in humanity's development, and will play an even larger one down the line. I particularly enjoyed Andy Weir's new novel set on the moon, Artemis, and much like his earlier work, The Martian, it has a good amount of hard science in there, but also has a compelling character as the protagonist. And it really gives us an immersive look at a moon base that many hundreds of people call home, and how a culture can arise there. That human part of the equation is our major focus for today, so it seemed a good choice for Audible Book of the Month. So when it comes to colonies on the moon, when the place starts hosting thousands of people, there's still not much room for conflict. The moon may be a lot smaller than Earth, but it still has a total land area in between Africa and Asia in size. Similarly, until the place has a net population of at least a modest-sized country, all those various bases are going to be utterly tied to Earth. This isn't some distant colony after all. It's one where even our early spacecraft only needed a few days to reach, and where light lag is minimal enough to allow real-time communication, just with irritating pauses.
Like to have a variety.
Requiring a need to be autonomous and self-sufficient, like interstellar colonies have.
Where you want to drink?
And
Want to drink one of these?
to the point that you have a big
One of
population
these?
on the moon, it's got to be exporting things or providing services, giving it a very tight trade
That's what
to Earth.
That's what I got on
We
tap
have
right
to put
now.
ourselves into a time when the population is at least a few
Got one of
million,
these gorgeous.
and that also means that it's not
Good,
really
yeah.
Earth and the moon either. Such a setup strongly implies a huge orbital infrastructure around Earth, and probably the moon too, with lots of objects in the space between the Earth and the moon, cislunar space. The whole point of the moon, in terms of developing a serious foothold there, is to supply vast amounts of raw materials for building up that orbital swarm around Earth and extending our foothold to other planets. So if you've got millions of folks on the moon, enough to contemplate real conflicts with each other or Earth, it's because you've been supplying that construction material for space expansion, and could easily have hundreds of millions of folks already walking off Earth. If the moon is big enough to have bits of it thinking about sovereignty in a serious way, it's because expansion into space has truly kicked off, and there's probably other smaller colonies on other planets and in the belt, plus vast amounts of space habitats around Earth. Now there's a chance that the whole moon might rebel as a unified group, and could do so at a smaller population than millions of people, but it doesn't seem very probable. If there's to be major industry on the moon, that's industry many folks will want to get involved in, and no one will be in a position to monopolize that in the current international setup, or anything likely to evolve in the near future. If it's attracting serious industry, there's the economic aspect, which is cause enough, but the moon would include concerns of prestige and security too. This tends to imply early colonization will either be a vast unified international effort, in which case it's unlikely to be a place where residents are suffering vast oppression or neglect, or it's likely to be a collection of various separate facilities with separate founding entities and motivations. Neither is very likely to foster a moon-wide rebellion. They might have many shared concerns, but will probably be looking less at an emerging lunar culture and more at numerous subcultures. You'd have folks living in lava tubes and others living in craters, some of which are small and some of which are the size of major nations back here. Geographically, unlike Earth, the poles are particularly attractive places to live, largely because we do want the ice there, so you've got concentrations of bases in the north and south. You've also got a light side and a dark side divide. The moon's dark side isn't dark in the classic sense. It gets the same sunlight as the rest, but we can never see it from Earth, and they can never see us. That makes it a great place for telescopes and receivers for long-distance transmission or power beaming. The dark side of the moon is the one place in this solar system you can build a massive laser system for pushing spacecraft or blowing up rogue asteroids that cannot be pointed at Earth. For the folks on the dark side, Earth is never visible. For the folks on the light side, it hangs there all the time. The moon rises and sets on Earth. It waxes and wanes. But on the moon, the Earth does not rise or set, though it would wax and wane, and it would be a good deal brighter to them than the moon is to us, with it more or less hanging in the same part of the sky all the time, though which part of the sky would still vary depending on where you were on the moon. Days on the moon last a month. The sun will just slowly crawl across the sky. No air, so no blue skies, no pastel sunrises. When it sets, the night lasts for a couple weeks, but Earth is still there, very bright. I think this would have a pretty big impact on people. When we talk about distant colonies going independent, they almost have to from day one because Earth is so far away. But it's only a couple of seconds of transmission time away from the moon, and not a long flight either. So Earth is never far away nor out of sight and mind, particularly for the light side. Folks living on the dark side, or lava tubes at least, would not actually see humanity's homeland constantly hanging overhead, and that might make a difference. To the folks living in the crater domes or in the moon's own orbital network, or living a nomadic existence on regolith extraction tractors rolling around the dusty surface, Earth is right there. A lovely, fertile paradise overflowing in water, in contrast to their bleak and sparse landscape, always visible and just a phone call away. Unlike every other colony humanity has ever created, every colony we will ever create after that, far away on distant alien worlds, the moon will still be in that window of time and space where sons and daughters can migrate there and still call home. There's very different types of bases on the moon, very different lifestyles for those living there, different priorities, different founding cultures they are still connected to. Different cultures will emerge on the moon, but they may differ from each other more than from their founders back home. In that respect, a conflict between two entities on the moon seems more likely than with someone back home, and it is likely to be someone, not the whole Earth. For one thing, that would be suicidal. Whatever sci-fi says about having a strategic advantage from fighting at the top of a gravity well, as we saw in our episode on planetary invasions, it isn't a very big advantage, albeit moon bases enjoy a lot of other advantages over an orbiting fleet. The other thing is it isn't you versus Earth. It would be you versus Earth and that massive orbital infrastructure between you and it. Various habitats and industry in orbit around Earth and in cislunar space are probably going to outnumber the folks on the moon all by themselves. After all, the moon would have grown by providing the raw materials to build those areas up. Just as an example, the moon is likely to have mass drivers and railguns for launching cargo, and such a thing could be adapted to launch kinetic missiles back at Earth. But because the moon is tightly locked in orbit of Earth, any mass driver built for that is always aimed in the same direction, down a single corridor that you can defend, and is built to sling large payloads into orbit of Earth. That's not an ideal weapon. Alternatively, Earth probably would have its own orbiting mass drivers, and odds are many of these would be purpose-built for defense, be it an attack or a breakout of Kessler syndrome, particularly since even a minor conflict in Earth orbit could result in that exponential collection of debris without them. Now, when we say conflicts, we are not necessarily talking about a war or violence or even necessarily hostility. In practice, in current times, that's often a losing route to gain an objective anyway. A lunar economy is one that's going to be very dependent on trade, and while the sailing ships of the past could convert to warships or pirate or smuggler ships very easily, that's a lot harder with spacecraft. Not the warship part. As we often point out, an unarmed spaceship is an oxymoron. But you can't just sail over the horizon and raise the Jolly Roger and do some privateering. No vessel is moving around cislunar space with any secrecy as to where it is or what it's been up to, and smuggling is rather tricky when every port of call has specific airlocks everything moves through. There are some advantages the moon enjoys strategically though, as I mentioned, and one of those is airlocks. On the moon, from day one, every place is a bunker, every door is a vault, and odds are, even the individual rooms in someone's home have sturdy airtight doors and backup air supplies and carbon scrubbers. Every room has some little monitor built in, watching for little dips in air pressure or changes to air chemistry. Most of the habitats are likely to be at least partially underground, quite probably under meters of lunar regolith, and possibly sporting a point defense system for blowing up micrometeors. Consider the effect that has on one's mindset, and that could spill over to other areas. Early settlements aren't likely to have been big on privacy either, so you could easily have very security-conscious civilizations emerging there. There's also some ready-made soldiers hanging around, in at least 3 types. First off, you've got the mining crews. Those folks will be very used to wearing spacesuits, which convert easily to wearing battle armor, and using explosives and mining equipment. In other words, the skill list you need for raiding or invading another moon base. Second, you've got all those ships. And it's not that most modern vessels tend to have a Navy mindset because so many of the crew are former Navy, is that the entire Navy mindset more or less evolved from what the norm on
What y'all
ships
getting
tended
into?
to be. Ships are not run democratically, and you don't quit.
Say, Tyrell. Tyrell, is you still in there? I asked what the hell y'all was doing. Reference sources.
Mid-voyage, or decide you don't feel like following orders today. And there's not much reason to think a spaceship would be any different. As of nowadays, 2/3 of current or former NASA astronauts are current or former military, and the ratio is quite high in other space programs too. There will be a lot of ships coming and going from the moon, and a lot of orbital facility security forces at the various ports, and even those who don't have a military background, are going to be a pretty easy conversion to troops if you need them. Third, you've got those nomadic miners we mentioned in passing. You can make a pretty good analogy for the moon with the old colonies and city-states of classical Greece.
So I'm still working on this commission. I actually put my gloves on. I don't know, I done got used to wearing gloves. I never really did that until, I don't know, I started looking at a lot of other artists and they just wear gloves. And it does keep your hands clean as hell, obviously. And they're not as sweaty as I thought they were going to be. But still working on this commission piece. But the thing is, if you look at the photograph, you can't see his arm. So I'm actually trying to insert that arm in there and see if I can get it to look right and kind of match up. But we'll see. Yeah, just trying to work on how the muscles would be in his forearm and add some more highlights to it. Yeah, it's not terrible. I think if I can. Because I had it too wide here to start with, so I slimmed it down there. I slimmed the shoulder down a little bit. So I don't know. I think it might actually work out. So I'm gonna keep playing around with this thing for a little while. We're on YouTube Live, yo. Come over to the YouTube channel.
Hey, it's the $6 million man. We got a packed house.
I'm streaming as of late. So now I've got it set up to where I can do streaming from my PlayStation, streaming from my computer. So
He's streaming from his PlayStation.
You want to join on that stream? I'm thinking about maybe doing a couple of streams on this channel, and then maybe kind of if you guys like it, maybe do a couple more. Or if you want to keep like the politics channel separate from the news channel, maybe starting a brand new channel to help like to do the game streaming on, and then migrating some people over there, even though I'll be doing both. So, you know, it's just something interesting to think about, because like I play video games at that time anyway. Why not like share it out with people, right? Do some streams. We'll have some interactive fun. Except
Yeah, I try to stream my video games. Nobody watch that shit. I barely get people to watch this, but especially when I'm playing games, like nobody, like people like, yo, Trap, we ain't got time for that.
So, oh, it'd be great. Anyway, let me know what you want to do. I got a poll up on the channel. I know you guys know I can actually do polls, and so I can see what you guys are thinking. Right now, doing like video game streams here on TYT Nation and this channel is actually doing really well. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'll do. So but we'll figure it out. But anyway, that's what I've got going on. I think I'll probably do a Battlefield 5 live stream, kind of like a let's play together, etc. On that game later on. So it should be fun.
You're gonna get
but we've got a lot of news to get to, so let's do that.
Dude.
Let's do that first. Let's start out with Donald Trump versus voting. It is a super serial issue. Oh boy. So there is currently a recount going on in both Florida and Georgia when it comes to last week's elections. So very, very important elections. You've got the governor's gubernatorial election in both Georgia and Florida. Rick Scott versus Bill Nelson for the Senate. Andrew Gillum versus Ron DeSantis. Stacey Abrams, versus her opponent. So that's Brian Kemp, by the way, who has been doing a lot of voter suppression. So these races are incredibly close. And for Florida especially, Florida's very, very important. Not to say Georgia isn't very, very important. That would be a huge bellwether race. If Stacey Abrams wins in Georgia, she's deeply progressive, and so her win would be monumental. But so would Florida, as Florida plays a really important role in 2020. So, of course, Republicans are very, very interested in keeping control of course, both of those areas and both of those governorships. Now, of course, Rick Scott and Donald Trump now, since the recount had begun, they have been trying to fight it. There's nothing more that Republicans hate when you count all the votes. Okay, they despise that. They're like, how dare you count all these votes? So now, lately they've been going forward with the attack of voter fraud, the implication of voter fraud. Oh, we've got all this voter fraud happening in Florida. In fact, Trump had said Republicans don't win, and that's because of potentially illegal votes. This is him talking to the Daily Caller on Wednesday. He said, when people get in line that have absolutely no right to vote and they go around in circles, sometimes they go to their car, put on a different hat, put on a different shirt, come in and vote again. Nobody takes anything. It's really a disgrace what's going on. So now, wait. He's talking about people just going and putting on a different hat and coming and voting again. Pretty sure that doesn't happen. Pretty sure this never happened. We're at a point in this country that is such an absurd statement on its face. It is so absurd, though, when you look at voter turnout. Now, this was a record turnout. But if you compare it to other countries, especially countries, of course, with compulsory voting, but even other countries that don't have, the United States, with our record turnout in the midterms, is still laughably low compared to so many different countries. People in America don't care. So if you think they don't care now, what makes you think that they would care enough to perpetuate voter fraud, in-person voter fraud? When the Voter Fraud Commission, headed up by Chris Kobach for the Trump administration, found that there was an infinitesimally small percentage of in-person voter fraud to begin with. Over all the years that they studied, they found like 0.000000275% rate of in-person voter fraud. It is nearly unheard of. You are more likely to get struck by lightning or have a vending machine fall on you than to do in-person voter fraud. It is that freaking rare. So of course this is absolute baseless, right? Completely baseless allegations. But Rick Scott is also alleging voter fraud. Donald Trump alleging voter fraud. Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush. Hey, Jeb Bush, by the way.
Please clap.
Yeah, exactly. They're all alleging that something is fishy with the votes. And then you've got some people on the left that are also saying things are fishy with the votes. And so here you have this perfect storm. Now, I think that every vote should be counted. And Gillum and the Democrats in there also believe that every vote should be counted, right? No matter what the result turns out to be. And right now, look, it's possible that Bill Nelson and Andrew Gillum just don't have enough votes. But some of the vote counts in a lot of different areas since the election have flipped seats over to Democrats, turning it into an actual blue wave. So now on election night or after election night, I said, look, this is like sort of a mid-sized wave. It's not a tsunami. I was wrong. It actually turned out to be a much bigger wave than was apparent on election night. We still today are having results. I think yesterday was Kristen Sinema that was declared the winner in her Arizona race. And we have another race or other races today that have been announced to be in favor for Democrats. But no, it must be voter fraud because people are coming in and they're doing they're putting on different hats and shirts and they're coming in and they're voting. They're voting twice. They're voting 3 times, 4 times. I mean, it's a disgrace what's happening. What's going on? Now, all this, of course, is to set up the need for voter ID. Now, this is the way, of course, that to disenfranchise Democrats, older people of color, especially college students, etc., people that don't necessarily have IDs. Now, you think, oh, come on. Why would people not have IDs? Like, I've got an ID, I've got a driver's license, but you got to think about it. People in the big city, living in places like New York and LA, do they necessarily need their own cars when you have public transportation? Why would you even need to get a license in that area? And if you're living in the inner city and, you know, maybe you don't have enough money for a vehicle or enough money for insurance, well, then you're going to have public transportation and you're not going to be using a car. So why would you need a license for that? Why would you need an ID? And it does cost extra, not only just money, but time to get that voter ID. That said, Trump has a very interesting idea of what you actually need ID for. He also said, after he went on this thing, this tirade about people changing their hats and coming in and voting, he said, quote, "If you buy a box of cereal, you have a voter ID." What kind of cereal is this guy buying? I bought cereal a lot. I buy cereal plenty of times. I don't need no voter ID. Where's he shopping? No, odds are, and this pretty much guarantees that this man has never shopped for himself for his entire life. He's never been to a grocery store. You know, his shopping.
Yep. What's up, bro? Going through the motions of it right now. So I had the inspection on it last week and told them that I wanted the current home property owners to fix some certain things on there. So I guess they're looking over that list and deliberating what are they willing to repair and whatnot. Yeah, there's not a lot of major issues at all. There's like really just like only two major issues, and they're not like only one of them is like impending danger. The flute from the furnace is it's in the chimney, but it's not sealed. There's just like opening into the chimney, and the flute from the is just sitting in it, and it's like a big gap all around it. And so the inspector was like, "Yo, that's carbon monoxide. Like you can't live in here and have that like that at all." But he's like, "That's a simple fix. You get the right plumber in here with the right materials just to seal up the gap to the chimney." And there's like some other minor stuff, but there's one more major thing is one of the uh, support posts in the basement is sinking into the foundation a little bit. He said that's it's not something immediate, but in the next couple of years that definitely need to be replaced. And you can kind of feel it a little like it's about an inch deep into the foundation. It's sunk really low, and there is one spot in the living room where you can kind of feel like a little dip, and that's what it is. Yeah, that's all it is. All you gotta do is just get the big jack and jack it up, knock that post out, and put a level off the ground underneath it, and just put a new post there. So that, like I said, not something that's important to the structure, but it's not like it ain't something that need to be done tomorrow, but it is something that will need to be done. There's a couple of windows that might need to be replaced, some latches on some windows that need to be replaced. There's a pipe in the basement, a steam pipe that feeds the second floor radiators that has a leak in it, and some leaks in the in the exposed plumbing, like underneath the sink. The that U that P trap underneath the sink is leaking. There's a leak in the dishwasher. When you run the dishwasher, that runs. There's some water that runs underneath the sink, but that's just like once again like simple stuff. The damn on the first floor bathroom, when you run the shower in there, the shower head leaks, but it's leaking from like from the head itself. It's not like the pipe or nothing like that. So you just have to get a new shower head, and I mean, ain't a lot of shit wrong with it. And carpet, like switch out the carpet, put some new carpet in there. The foyer is that old like wainscot looking panel, that wood paneling that nobody hardly has in their home anymore. So I could replace that. Um, the carpet, some paint, some some mud on some places in the walls where you got little dings and stuff. Ain't nothing that nobody could handle. Shit. Yeah. But see, I'm thinking it's the flood zone. It might fall in the flood zone where you have to have flood insurance. I think that probably scares some people off from it, but I don't know. I mean, with my art, I want all kind of insurance on anything anyway. Yeah. What you got going? Okay. What you doing? Mm-hmm. I can imagine. Yeah, that's yeah. See, this is the tricky part. Mm-hmm. But damn, that's what's up though, B. And where you want to be at with it? Like you said, not. Well, I can't. I ain't gonna touch it. I am live on YouTube right now. So, I ain't even want to say that, but that's what's up though. No, they can't hear you. I'll delete this episode as soon as I'm done anyway. Screw it. You know, they say everybody want to work they angle on it. You trying to you trying to make a motherfucking move to be self sufficient. They want to goddamn just like you say sell it probably for their own reason. Oh no. Hmm? It's time to be like I don't know. I see a lot of people trying to take those opportunities when they got them. Right. And that's what I'm taking full advantage of the opportunity I have right now. That's leverage for yeah for a lot of other stuff. Mhm. That's it. That's the yeah the easy part. Yeah, definitely whenever if this one is going to be a one man when everything is all settled and final man, I gotta come back up here again. Yeah, I honestly plan on being up here for maybe like another 4 or 5 years. See if I can get a little bit more established with this art thing. I'll take that shit, sell it, then come down there and buy something cheaper. I seen so much land down there, and I thought that I was so conflicted for a long time because I miss all y'all. I be wanting to be home so bad, the weather, my family, my friends, but I think there's a lot of opportunities up here I can take advantage of. So if I can just stick it out for a little bit longer, when I do come down, I think it'll be a better transition for me when I do decide to come back. I know that's right. And you know, and then I still have that little piece of land in Southgate and Hartsville too. Still thinking, once I get this up here squared away, I might square that one way down there and have that as another park. Think about starting like a little trailer park. Just keep adding on to the one I got. Put another little trailer on there. Yep. Like a trailer park maybe? Cause yeah, that little property I got in Hartsville, I can put another trailer on it and just have like two little, two little trailers on the land. You just find another little acre and a half of land or 2 acres of land somewhere and put another couple of old trailers in. So that's something else. Like everybody gotta pay to live somewhere. Like you said, if you don't own your house, you gotta pay somebody to live somewhere. hmm And then it's so big, like you can tell it was. That's what the inspector had noticed too, because there's two boxes, there's two breaker boxes in the basement. So he was tracing all the wires back. He went outside and looked at them. He was like, "It's only 1 meter outside." So, and then they killed all the main wires, and then shifted some wires over, and so that everything's in one box. He said this. It was like this building was 2 units at one time. So you can kind of tell like how big it is, and then the balcony, the second floor balcony on the back, it just looked like it was 2 units. And somebody just took it and made it 1 unit. But like I say, even if I don't sell it, I could just make it a 2-family home and rent it out. And have that as rental property. That's crazy, man. Yeah, exactly. And I was, that house on, okay, the yellow house I lived in on Waverly. Now, not if you in front of the house facing the street, it'd be the neighbor to the left side. They're trying to sell that. They want to sell that house for like 55,000 or 45,000. And I was like, on Waverly Avenue. But I don't know who's gonna buy it, and then the price keeps dropping and dropping. It was at 50 something for a minute, but I don't know. I thought those houses in that area, because even the yellow house had the old wiring and the fuses. You remember the fuse box in that thing, yo? And it's like, yo, yeah, man, that's a $30,000 house, man. They so much stuff that you have to do to upgrade them houses, man. It got all the old wood windows and that, man. And that was like something like 50 something for the house. I was like, they crazy. Exactly. Like, yo, this house has never been upgraded, not even the wiring in this. And they told me they wanted $60,000 when I asked them, because I asked Tobin, was that rental property place. I asked him, can I buy that house? And it was like, yeah, for 60,000. I'm like, I'm not giving y'all fucking 60,000 for this shit. I have to put 60,000 in it just to rewire this damn thing. You know? That was crazy. hmm Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, all those houses, because they're all old as hell. And that's like, I think that's the reason a lot of these houses in these areas are the same way, because this is all like old coal mining territory, you know? And these houses are 20s, 30s, some of them before that. A lot of these old. That's why it was something else. The inspector said, he was like, that property has been rewired. He's like, it has, even the third floor was all attic space, and it was refurbished as 2 rooms. And he was like, they didn't use any of the old wiring at all. He was like, everything up in the attic is all new. Like, so that's another good aspect of it. So there's a lot of positive. The roof is good. There's only like one little small leak in one gutter on the back porch. Like it ain't really, there's a lot wrong with it. I think people are afraid of the maintenance and upkeep because property taxes, flood insurance, it's so big. It's the heating in the wintertime and the cooling in the summertime. It's over 2,000 square feet. You know, it's 2,400 square feet. So heating that motherfucker up to keep your ass warm in the winter, that shit gonna cost a couple dollars. Yeah, you know, that's what I'm thinking. And that's what I was asking too, like how many zones for the heating is like it's one. Like I was like, damn. You turn on the heat one time, the whole house get hot instead of being able to like to heat certain rooms. And then it's the old ass furnace systems where, you know, if some of the furnaces still have the knobs attached, which most of them don't, you can kind of like turn them down or turn them off and save like that. But man, I can imagine that shit will be expensive as hell to keep warm. Bro, and it's like we got like a half a foot of snow like right now already. And I wanted to be moved before the damn snow came, but like that was gonna happen. Oh, bro, I was already thinking about it. I was like, oh my fucking god, dude. I can see myself trying to walk a couch up the ramp onto a U-Haul and it's fucking snowing and sleeting. Damn, damn. And that's the other thing, like I said, but I ain't hardly got nobody up there. I ain't got nobody to really even help to ask. Like, Jesus, the bulk of this stuff's gonna be on me. Oh no, no, no. That look like one of those, yeah, to yourself neighborhoods. And it's more, it's, hmm? Damn. Hold up. No, fuck that. Gotta see my breath in the house before I turn my damn. Ooh, it's it. It's like that. Yeah, we don't play that. I let that shit live with my uncle and them in Virginia. Yo, Diamond Soul, what's up, yo? Shit, he don't turn that heat on until like in the 20s. you better have some damn pajamas, some thermals and some pajamas and some sweatpants and a thermal top and a hoodie and a sweater on. Shit. Oh, that's what I got on now. Yeah, I got two long sleeve shirts. It's cold today, bro. But that snow it coming down right now, bro. I mean, real bad, real bad. I mean, in probably about 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, bro, I saw it coming, so I went to run to Walmart and grab a couple things. I know I still shop at Walmart. It's the closest place though. Anyway, so I went there, I grabbed a couple things. But by the time I come back, what visibility then dropped to less than like half a mile, bro. And then it getting so bad. Yo, the windshield wipers ain't even fighting the snow, man. The snow just clumping up, starting to freeze on the windshield. I was like, boy, I can't wait to get back in the house, too. And it was crazy. In like 2 hours, we got like almost a half foot of snow. Yeah, we got a bunch. You been here, man? It's kind of hilly around here too. And Angel said when she was getting off work, I mean, cars can't make it up the hill. People ain't getting them good winter tires yet. Just spinning tires trying to come up the hill or slide going down the hill. And, I mean, traffic is all backed up, everywhere. It's crazy right now. No, no, no. Yeah, you gotta make it in, man. You better walk. Get on a bicycle. That's why I say it. Just, but the position I'm in right now, and I tell you, I got denied the job for the Boys and Girls Club. I got denied the job for the Boys and Girls Club. Oh, for the Boys and Girls Club. because my record was too extensive. My FBI background check came back, said, yeah, he has a record, but it doesn't prohibit him from working around children in a child care capacity or anything like that. So, you know, he may have stole some shit, but he's not a rapist, pedophile, whatever, and he's good at working around kids. But then they were like, well, but you have like 3 things on your record. And I'm like, yeah, and they're like 10 years ago. But yeah, but sorry, we won't be able to use you because you just got too much stuff on your record. I'm like, yeah, but it's from 10 years ago. And the FBI said that I'm cool. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, you're around kids. And the FBI says I'm cool to be around the children. And they would not give me that job, bro. They just turned me down. It's like my record was too extensive. And so I was kind of bummed out about that, but then I got another lead for another mentorship, not a mentorship, but kind of a instructor for this art academy. And so going through those motions, and then there is sort of like an instructor mentorship program for at-risk youth that someone else put me on. So, and I literally just got the email. So they thought they sent me the entire application, but didn't. And so, they gave me the director's email. So I emailed her and said, hey, I was trying to get the application. So she just emailed it to me today, and she said, and in the email she said, here it is. If you need any help, just call me or email me. So that looks pretty promising. And there is a Kwanzaa. Somebody is doing a Kwanzaa festival for the city, and they contacted me about being the feature artist. Now that's why I said I can't really leave from up here right now. I got so much good stuff going on. Like it'll take way too long for me to go somewhere else and get back to where I'm at, like right now.
Yeah, with all that's going on, man, I think,
And still, I'm doing the TV shows, and I got another solo gallery exhibition scheduled for next year. Talking to the Harlem Gallery. There's this one guy might let me bring some stuff to New York. Like, it's just a lot of good stuff right now. Yo, I ain't tell you this either, man. Hey, yo, I'm on Instagram. I get a message from some dude. It starts out about art. Hey, I like your art. I might want to get a painting from you. I'm like, okay, cool. So I sent him my price list, and he's like, send him the price list for commissions. He was like, no, I want something that you already painted. I'm like, all right. So we went through this whole motions, and he was like, oh, I want this one and this one. I'm like, okay, good. And so I was like, well, you can check out the prices here. And he was like, have you ever done a painting set before? I work for a lady. She normally pays like around $2,500 for an evening of painting sip. How do you feel about being nude in front of people? And I was like, I've never done it before, but I would be open to the idea, as for the experience. And then I'm thinking, like, do you want me to host the painting sip, or me being comfortable nude? So you want me to be the model for the painting sip? He was like, yeah, you should call my boss Kathy. And so this dude is Instagram. He has some Instagram handle with no real name. It's winning at life or something like that. I'm champion winning. And then he gives me this lady's number whose name is Kathy, and that's it. No last name or anything else. So I called Kathy, and I said, hello, Kathy? She said, yes. I said, some guy told me to call you about a modeling gig? She was like, yeah. Well, I'm hosting some private paint and sip sessions, and I have very exclusive clientele, and I host private parties, and we have one that's going to be in Hampton, Virginia on November the 27th. And I said, you do know I live in Pennsylvania. Like, you can't find nobody in Virginia to do that. She was like, oh, I'm very selective about the people I choose for these events. Like I said, my client's very private, and I'm just really particular. And I was like, okay. She's like, well, this one's gonna be like a 3-hour event. I can pay you $400 an hour, and she was like, basically just to be a nude model, and it's once again it's really private, so there won't be any photos allowed. I ask people to keep their cell phones away, but if someone does want a picture, they have to ask your permission, and you can charge them to take if you want them to take pictures of you. And I'm like, and she was like, well, I need to know as soon as possible, and then she kind of like cut the conversation short, and I was like, okay. So I thought about it. So then I text this dude back on Instagram. I was like, yo, if Kathy's your boss, what do you do for her? He talking about he does part-time private work. Look, that's not vague at all, you know. That's you do part-time private work. Then he goes on and says that he gets the models for her or whatever, and it's like, I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Somebody out the blue, like you, a stranger, comes to me and says, hey, call my boss, and your boss says, hey, drive 6 hours to Virginia and you get naked and I'm gonna pay you $400 an hour. This shit kind of sounds kind of fishy, dude. You know, so I don't want to wake up missing a kidney or something. He was like, oh well, if you don't think it's legit, and I don't know why you would even drive that far. She normally pays for flights and a hotel room for you, and I'm like, okay, so what's your name? What's Kathy's last name? What's her social identity? What's her .com? If she's a businesswoman, what is she? Well, if you're feeling this skeptical and it sounds like you're not really interested, I don't feel comfortable giving you that information. But motherfucker, you just gave me her cell phone number. But you won't give me her last name, but I got her cell phone number. So I don't know. I think they might be some body snatchers or something, man. Yeah, yeah. That's what I told him. I was like, dude, I'm not trying to wake up. I texted him this. I'm like, I don't want to wake up missing a kidney behind a dumpster with a butt full of cum or some shit. He's like, oh, that's funny. I'm like, yeah, it sounds funny, but I don't want that to be me. I don't want the joke to be on me. You know. Yeah, you sound too skeptical anyway. I'm not gonna tell you Kathy's last name. And somebody just posted a snuff film on YouTube. I can't believe I sat through the whole thing. There's 2 girls too, bro. Like this one dude, he has a mask on, and they're both like, whatever it is, I don't know if they're already dead, but they're completely unconscious, and they're laying on their backs side by side. And he gets on top of one of them, and he just like stabs her all in the throat, like 15 times in the throat, starts stabbing and gouging her eyes, and he gets off her. Like the whole time, the other girl on the ground, she didn't move at all, didn't make a sound at all. So I don't know if she was knocked out, passed out, or already dead, but then he gets on top of her and does the same fucking thing, just like stabs her all in her fucking throat. And it's the camera guy is just like, he's a good camera guy. Like he didn't miss anything. I'm like, oh shit, son. I haven't seen something like that in a minute, bro. I was like, I don't know, it just made my blood curl a little bit. Like, ooh. Yeah, exactly. I do part-time private work. Like, no. I just saw something that was like that, you know. just saw some guys doing a little bit of part-time private work. No, thank you. No, thank you, sir. I bet those 2 girls thought they were going to be new models. Oh, I can't believe I just made a joke out of that. The world we live in is fucking crazy, bro. I'm fucking crazy as shit. Wow. It was on Facebook, dude. That shit was on Facebook. It was a Facebook link. Swear to God, I can't even remember who posted it. But it was like, oh, gruesome footage, and I just clicked on it, and it's a snuff film. It's like, what the fuck, yo? Like, he just stabbed both of these chicks like 50 times apiece. Yeah, I see your little rants every once in a while. yo, you think chemtrails had something to do with that forest? I mean that fire in Paradise, California. Everybody seemed like they were so shocked and surprised how fast that shit spread and how fast everything burnt to the ground. So I bet it was chemtrails and some new stuff. A couple days before that, they put some new additive in them chemtrails and it just incendiary. Was it? Oh yeah. Oh, yo. I ain't think about that. Yeah. 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 Is at another place. And that's what I'm saying. Like, are they crisis actors, or you just got like really, really bad luck, dude? Like, yeah, and you're surviving both of these things. And they keep coming. Like I talk about this a lot in my stream, dude. Is like what is going on, and it's I remember Columbine, and then like it was like years and years till we heard something else again. Then it was years and years, and now it's not even years anymore. It's like every few months. Even the shooting in Florence, when the dude killed the cop, shot 7 cops, killed 1 cop, and it's like, yo, what the fuck?
We still on here?
Huh?
Are we on here?
Yeah. Let me call you back later. I'm only gonna be here for a little bit longer. All right, I will. All right. Yeah, my homie don't want to talk about certain shit. Like when I don't know some shit and I want to know something, he probably the first person I call, yo. He's an author. I own all his books. Like, yo, he's like a legit author. The dude I was just on the phone with, I'll show you his stuff, yo. Like my best friend. Yo, these just some of the books my homie wrote. I got 2 more. I don't know where they at though. They might be up here already. But yeah, there's some of his books right here. So when I say hand signed to yours truly. So yeah, my man writes some shit, yo. Big books. I know some smart motherfuckers, yo. Word up. He wanted to talk about something. He was gonna tell me something, but he was like, "You still streaming?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, I was like, "I'll call you back, B. I'll call you back, man." He ain't gonna say something, man. Whatever he gonna tell me, it gonna be juicy as hell, though. My man be getting the scoops. Why did my brush? Uh-huh. Shit, my day was going good until it started snowing. I looked through all these rappers that in trash can, and ain't none of them went in yet. Not even one. That one ain't going in either. It's a shame. It's all good. I'm an artist, not an athlete. You know? I said I'm an artist, not an athlete. Damn, I can drink all my ginger beer. Drinking some ginger beer. Eating some ginger candy. Gin-gins. Now all of these are gone. I feel like a greedy little pig right now.
Hey, this is what I need. Go get it. By the way, when you're out, go pick me up a cheeseburger and a Diet Coke, some chicken nuggets or something. Give you a 20-piece. That's his shopping. Somebody else does it. He's never bought cereal before. He has no idea what he's talking about. No idea. Look, the voter fraud stuff is ridiculous on its face, right? But all these Republicans, they parrot that because they believe that there's this big scourge of voter fraud, right? That's ridiculous enough. But the cereal thing, that just pushes it into absolute absurd bullshit territory.
This is Dr. Gunther Zulov.
Connected to iPhone.
Did he solve Carmichael's totient conjecture?
Minute.
Fingerlets. Hey, you have little thumbs. I guess my middle finger is long as hell, though. Damn. That'd be a cool name, though. A cool nickname, Little Thumb. Where's Little Thumb? Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't that somebody? Isn't that the guy they called a guy that on Game of Thrones, and he hated that shit, yo? He hated when they called him Little Thumb or something like that. But they never like really said where that nickname came from. Probably because he had little thumbs too. Little thumb. I'm about to get out of here, guys. Take a little break. I really need to do some more shit online, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I might smoke and go play some video games for a minute. I didn't play games all day yesterday because I was busy doing stuff. I was busy all day today. Haven't even turned on the other PlayStation at all today. And it's not too late, so I can probably veg out on games for a couple hours and then still get like some more stuff done before I go to bed. Not on camera anymore because I'm going for a grant, I'm going for mentorships, I'm going for like all kind of stuff that deals with kids and stuff, so I gotta change my public persona. It sucks, I know, right? But I think from now on, you guys probably won't actually see me do anything like that on camera. And I'm going to try to stop using so much profanity. Which is not compromising myself too much, but a friend of mine is a teacher in Texas, and she was talking about me to one of her students who likes art, and he actually reached out to me. She tried to show some of my videos to some of her other students and just immediately had to stop them because of certain things that shouldn't be exposed to the youth. And I hate to like limit my range, especially when I think I can have more influence over the young people. And so I definitely have to clean up my act a little bit. Yeah, you know. You know how it goes. So I wanna be that guy. You know? And in order for me to be that guy, you know, in order for my life to change, I have to change things in my life. Basically. You know? And I want my life to change. And so there are certain things that I will have to change in my life. That's how your life changes. Once you make changes, then things change around you. And so I think I'll have better opportunities, and being more visible to the youth is always excellent. Hi, Travis. Our employment application is attached. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks. And this comes from the program director for Outreach Center for Community Resources. After 30 years of hard work, EOTC has made an outstanding name for itself. Introducing our new outreach. Please update your email list accordingly. And so I have this online application here for, it's like at troubled youth or at risk youth, you know, and art programs and mentorships and things like that. So and I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking about doing too, is like, I was thinking about just a day. And so I asked my teacher friend, like what day would be a good day, and she was like Wednesdays. You know, if you can do something Wednesdays from like 11 to 1 or something like that. So I was thinking about like kid friendly Wednesdays or something like that, or having a specific day that is directed and targeted right towards the young adults, and have you know, a program or a lesson or a lecture or something prepared directly for the kids. And so yeah, that was one thing. But you know, making an entirely new channel just for kids, that might be something else. Man, I'll be in the studio all day. I need help with this stuff. I need some camera guys, operating cameras and the sound and stuff, man. I need some script writers. I need some people who can edit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a one-man band right now. I ain't complaining at all. I'm just saying there is potential for growth. I'm just gonna need a little bit of help. I can write. That's what I'm talking about. All you gotta do is have like a nice little intro to the show, you know, like you say, a daily or maybe like a weekly motivational quote or something like that. Things like that, man. Just little teeny things will help out. Oh snap! I feel sleepy. Let me dump out my dirty thinner into my clean thinner, and then we're gonna get out of here. Alright guys, like I said, I'm about to go veg out for a minute, play some video games. I know nobody likes to watch me play video games, but I am going to stream it anyway. Yo, that's what's up. Everybody moving up in the world. Everybody is moving up, progressing, making it advancements, you know, achievements. And those are the people I like to be around. Those are the people I like to deal with. If you stagnated, if you still doing what you did last year, well, it ain't always bad if you still doing what you did last year if it's working for you. You know? But if you feel like ain't nothing working for you, but you not trying to do something else, I don't know what to tell you. I hate this, I hate that, and this sucks and that sucks. Well, what is you doing to change it? Well, I complain a lot. Oh, well, let's see. Let's see how far complaining has got you. Nowhere. It's time for action. And yes, my friend, you will receive a better position with better pay and more respect. A corner office with a view and a secretary to fetch you coffee and the do boy to rub your feet. You deserve all of this. Ba, 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 ba. Get everything off. Laptop off. Tablet off. Bluetooth speaker is off. Something should be charging while I'm not in here. And I think I will charge the speaker because that was on for a while. Speaker on charge. Yep. Let me put my phone back to its normal settings. And we're out of here. Appreciate it, guys. I'll catch you next time. Peace.